I just want to sit here and talk to you guys. I turn on and off the AC from time to time because I feel a little chilly sometimes. I don't know the temperature outside because I don't have any reception on my phone to be able to get the temperature. I do have a little thermometer, but it's outside. I might be able to reach out and grab it from the edge of the tent. No, I don't want to risk it. Oh my gosh, can you imagine somebody looking at me thinking, what is this crazy woman doing? Anyhow, so this tent has a pretty good seal, I would say, if I do say so myself. I'm giving you guys the weirdest views, like armpit. Yeah. Oh, I think that was another one. Yeah, I just killed it and it just landed. Let me not tumble forward and fall through the tent. As you can tell, I'm grasping onto the car so that doesn't happen. I threw away the dead little bug. I feel like I need to wash my hands. I got water and alcohol. So this I carry in my car as a way to clean the glass surfaces. So like the piano black that's in your car, if you happen to have that, your touch screen or your GPS display. Mine isn't touch screen, but I don't care. I like it better with the rotary dial. Your windows, and they got smudges and fingerprints on them. Water and just a little bit of alcohol does the trick. No streaks, clean, shiny surface every time. And it's also a hand sanitizer. Leaves your hands a little sticky, but whatever. So while I was at De Leon Springs today, I wanted to buy a souvenir, but nothing caught my eye. I wanted to get a little sticker to collect for my fridge. I'll show you guys later, because right now my fridge, the side that has the stickers, is facing the wall of the car, so you can't really see it. But I've been collecting stickers for my car camping fridge, and I got one for Blue Springs, and I got a t-shirt. I am such a sucker for those really soft, feels like it's an old t-shirt from 20 years ago type of shirts. It was $30, and it said Blue Springs, conserve and educate, and I really liked the message. And it's like a dark heather gray and super comfortable looking, and I just couldn't help myself. But anyway, why am I doing this camping thing? Well, I feel like I live to work and pay bills and do housework. I was once married with 2 kids, and I was the matriarch, so to speak, of my house. I was the mom, I was the wife, and it felt like it was for a purpose. It felt like there was a goal. Every day was a goal, and that didn't work out. And so it took me a long time to get over the fact that that family unit was something that was no longer going to be part of my life. Some people find a new one fast, right away. They meet someone else, they have their kids, and they do the Brady Bunch thing, and voila, they live happily ever after. That was not the case for me. I am very selective, more so after what I've been through. I'm going to be very selective, and I know what I want, and I know what I'm looking for. It may or may not exist, but I'm not going to settle for less, because settling will only get you hurt and have wasted a bunch of time. So while I have dated and I have had boyfriends since then, I didn't see them going anywhere. I didn't see a future. I didn't see it happening. I mean, the man has to be the one to lead you in that direction, to say, you know, I see you in my future, and this is what I see us doing together. And would you like that? What would you like to do together, like in our life? Some people model and follow the steps of their parents, and I don't always like what I see when I see the parents of people that I had dated, and I'm like, that's boring to me. That's not the life that I want. I don't want to be retired sitting on the couch watching TV. I want to be retired in an RV camping around the country. That requires financial stability. You can't do that and work at the same time unless you work remotely. And if you don't work remotely, then you're stuck in your city doing your line of work day in and day out, or whenever you can get it to pay the bills. Because even if you don't have a house, let's say you give it all up and you get this RV and you go out from state to state, you still have to pay for gas, you still have to pay for oil changes, you still have to pay for tire rotations, you still have to pay for maintenance. It's going to need a lot of work. You have to pay for propane, not to mention food, campsite fees if you're going to use, a campsite with full hookup. You're going to need to use dump stations. Even if you are boondocking, you're using your own tanks and whatnot. So it's not going to be zero expenses. Probably not as expensive as having a house, but it's still going to cost you something. So this is something that I feel passionate about, that I want to do, because I started my life with regards to being an adult, getting married and having babies and living happily ever after at a very young age. And I didn't know who I was, and I didn't know what I wanted, and I didn't know what I liked. And my whole life up until now, and I think continues to be trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. And as I age, I come into myself more and more and more. I become who I'm meant to be more and more and more. And maybe this camping thing is temporary, maybe it's a phase, but everything I've done, everything I've been through that has been temporary or a phase has been in reality a sort of stepping stone. It's another chapter in my book, it's a part of my story, and every experience has molded me into who I am and what I know. And I can honestly say I have never felt better about myself, more confident, even though I'm older. There's lines now that we used to not have before. There's a little bit of extra weight that I used to not have before. There's an exhaustion in my bones and in my muscles that ache that I used to not have, but it's getting worse. And I don't want to wake up one day and have a disease, an autoimmune disease, and something worse, dare I say the C word, or anything of the nature. Heart condition, diabetes, high blood pressure, anything that's going to make it hard for me, that's going to limit me from being able to see everything that I want to see. So I might as well start local and see what I can see here in my state of Florida. Even though I live way down in the southernmost southern regions of Florida, all the way down at the tip, in order to go anywhere that is naturally beautiful, like old Florida style, you gotta go a little more north. You gotta reach at least Orlando. Some areas on the west coast, maybe a little bit more south, like the Tampa, Sarasota areas. But if you're sticking in the middle of the state or the east coast, Orlando and upwards. I don't even know if I'll ever visit the Panhandle. The Panhandle's so far out there, I may as well just go visit Louisiana or go to Georgia or something. I mean, that takes like 10 hours just to get up to the Panhandle. It's hard, having to do all this and set everything up and get the tent and the AC unit, and it's achy on my aging body. Moving that picnic table today, I did hurt my hip a little bit. It still hurts, but that's my fridge. It kind of like powers on and off every once in a while. Now I know better. I am not going to move picnic tables anymore. The setup that I had, instead of car, moving the picnic table over to the back of the car and then putting the tent over here where the picnic table was, I'm just gonna leave the picnic table where it was, because most campsites, you pull in and one side has the hookups, the water, the electricity, whatever, and then the other side has a fire pit and a picnic table, because your RV goes like this and you hook up on the back of the RV, and where your front door is where your picnic table and all that is. Well, since I'm in my car, the back of my car is everything. That's where I hook up my air conditioner. That's where I hook up my refrigerator. That's where I step in and out of to get in and out of my vehicle. That's where I'm able to access the electricity to be able to cook. You know, I don't have a kitchen inside that is powered up and then I just connect to the outside. No, I need to like plug my stove directly into the outlet of the panel box because my 2 extension cables, maybe I should just get another extension cable, but the ones that I have are for my refrigerator and my air conditioning unit. And then the black one that has 4, you know, house type of outlets, and 3 USBs are for all my all these little trinkets and devices, these little light fixtures and bug repellents and things like that. And even for charging my phone. But maybe I should get a third because my 50 amp adapter has 4, I never say it right, house type outlets. What are those? 110 volt? I guess 15 amp. I think that's what it is. It has 4. So I currently have 2 white extension cords for the AC and for the fridge, and 1 black cord that has the power supply with all those other 110 volt and USBs. And I have an extra one available. Plus the panel also has a 30 amp, which I also have a 30 amp adapter as well, but it only has 1 110 volt on the other end of it. So unless you have one of those extension cords that has like 3 or 4 multiple others, I use the 50 amp one more often. Most of these campsites will have a 50 and a 30, and then they have the regular, you know, 15 amp, you know, 110 volt house outlets, which I could use those too. Those are fine, but there's only 2 of them. So I like my 50 amp because it gives me 4. Plus it's giving me a lot of power, 50 amps of power. It's good for my air conditioner, for my refrigerator, for me to power. I remember there was a time where I think I used my 30 amp and I had my AC going, my fridge plugged in, and then I had the little black power supply, and I would plug in like my stove to cook, and then my AC would shut off or the refrigerator would shut off and I have to go turn it back on. And I realized I was overloading the panel, that the source that I was using, the 30 amp, was not strong enough for all those things. So 50 amp it is. And what I like about doing this is not obviously all the work that is involved in making it happen, but the excitement of planning where I'm going, what am I going to see, what am I going to do, and the anticipation of looking forward to that date. And once I'm in the car and everything's already packed, all the hard work is done, driving, just driving. Not bumper to bumper traffic like how I go to work. No, just put on my music and just jam in the car and just go. It annoys me when I'm on my way and I'm running into traffic like on the turnpike or something on I-95, but it happens, you know. But ideally when it's just an open road, it's the best thing ever. It just clears your mind and it's just such a freeing sensation. And just put on cruise control and just go. Listen to music and sing, jam, and just let the time pass, and you're not even thinking about anything, really. I mean, some people think a lot, I guess, but at that time I'm not. I'm just looking at everything. And as I'm passing from one small town to another small town here in Florida, I'm looking at the way people live and the houses and the towns and what the names are and whatnot. And then when I get here, it's more work, you know, set everything up and everything. But once it's set up, I can eat, I can relax, I can walk around, I can explore, I can hike. If there's a spring, I can swim, I can snorkel. And then when it starts getting dark, you know, if it's time to cook again, I can do that as well. Everything is work. You gotta cook, and then you gotta wash your little stuff. There's a water source here as well that I use to wash my things. And then when it starts getting dark, I think I'm getting sleepy. When it starts getting dark, I go to the bathhouse. I bring my toiletries bag and my bag with my towel and my change of clothes, and I wear my sandals into the shower, and I shower with my sandals on, and I clean up my shoes, I clean up my feet, and I bathe myself, I wash my hair, I dry up, come out, and I put on like a simple pajama. Looks like a tank top, but it's actually like a long dress. Like it goes down to like mid-calf. And it's just like a regular, casual, hanging at home kind of comfortable dress, like a tank dress. This is what I throw on. It could be a short one, it could be a long one, as long as it's like something quick and easy to throw on. Last night I was a little cold, and I think tonight's gonna get a little colder. It's gonna reach 61, I believe, by around 4 or 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. and up until about 7 a.m. I think at 8 and 9, it starts to warm up to like 70. So tonight's gonna get cold. I'm so curious. I wish I can get my thermometer and see what the temperature is out there, because right now I'm comfortable in the car. I don't feel hot, I don't feel sweaty, I don't feel humid, I don't feel like I'm choking in here. I'm more in the exterior part of my car because it's just a tent. Like the interior is more in there, obviously, but the AC is off. And last night I was sleeping with it on, and there were multiple times in which I had to turn it off because I felt cold. And I have 2 layers of blankets. So this is like a cooling blanket. It's made of like a bamboo material, and it absorbs the sweat and the heat off your body. But then I also have my own knitted blanket, which should keep me warm given the circumstances that I'm sleeping practically outside, and I have, a limited BTU of air conditioning. But I was cold, and I had to turn it off sometimes. And then I'd get kind of warm and turn it back on. Because from the remote, you can't see the temperature that you're setting it at. You'd have to come up and look at it on the top. So I think I'm just gonna set it to a comfortable temperature, like maybe 70 degrees, 69. Because if it reaches in below 69, then it'll act like a heater in here. It'll kind of like neutralize the temperature, so it's not too cold and it's not too hot. But what I love about being out here is, even though I'm recording right now, I have no internet access, and I can't check Instagram, I can't check my bank accounts, I can't check my credit card apps, I can't check my balances, when is my next payment, and I do this almost obsessively, like every single day. I may have already made a payment the other day, but I check the app again to that same card to see, was there expenses that I put on there? What did I put on there, When I got lunch yesterday, because I forgot to put my lunch or whatever, I checked my gas card and how much is going on there at the moment, and I update my, not Excel, Google spreadsheet, and I keep track of my income and expenses that way. That way I know what my disposable income is, and I know if I'm in the deficit or if I'm in a surplus, and what to do. Since I am paying down debt, the goal is to be in a deficit, which I usually am, and that's how I'm able to pay down my debt. But then there have been some unexpected things that come up, and then that puts me back into a little bit more debt. But I'm sick of that. I'm sick of that yo-yo of like, pay down a little debt, and then whoop, something else happens. Pay down a little debt, and then whoop, something else happens. I don't pay any interest because I always make sure I roll it over into a balance transfer promo period where there's no interest. But one of those cards, I have 3 cards right now that have that 0% interest on balance transfer, and they're both like under 4,000. They're all like, they're like 2,000 to 3,000, and so it's not that bad. One of them is going to mature in February, and I make sure to make a note that it has to be paid off by January. I always trick myself into thinking that it has to be paid off 1 month before it really does, just in case, so I don't miss it and then bam, get hit with all the interest. So I have a card due in January, and we're at the end of October, so I have all of November and all of December to accumulate the funds for that card. But then I have another one due in March, and then I have another one due in April. So I have 1 month to accumulate the funds for the next card. and another month to accumulate the funds for the next card. Now, I'm not just accumulating these funds right before they're due. I'm putting money away each month for these cards so that when the time comes that they're due, I can just pay them off while simultaneously paying the minimum to the cards so that it's satisfied and it's not going into, you know, late payment, non-payment, you know, none of that stupidity. So I'm doing that, and then whatever I can, whatever's left, I put into a high yield savings account. Now that the interest rates are going down, it's going down. At one point I was getting 5.5%. Now I'm getting 4.5%. And I put some of it into my Roth IRA, and I just buy S&P 500 and hope for the best. And I have my life insurance policy as well. So if Social Security is no longer around and is not a thing anymore, then so be it. I have my accounts. My rollover IRA is all of my 401ks from previous jobs that I've had. I rolled them all over, consolidated them together into one traditional IRA. And then I have my Roth, which I can contribute out of my pocket. And then I have my current Roth 401k from my current employer. I contribute what they match. And sometimes when I'm a little strapped for money, I'm a little tight, I bring it down to 1%, which, you know, I think they match me at 3%. I should be putting in what they match. And you don't need to put a penny more. Really, you don't. But you're better off just putting money into your own Roth. But right now I'm putting it just at 1% because I need that extra cash flow. Holidays are coming up and I still have those debts to pay off and whatnot. So yeah, I don't know how I got off onto this tangent, but the fact that I'm here, I can't check on any of this stuff. I'm always checking my stuff. I check Instagram, I check Facebook, I post things for sale on Facebook Marketplace. Like sometimes I eliminate things in my house that I'm like, I haven't used this in a long time, let's just sell it. Doing that. And sometimes I do boredom window shopping where I just look at things and I'm not going to buy it, or I'll put it in a cart and it just stays there forever. I can't do any of that here. So I can record and I can live in the moment. And you guys definitely do not see every single minute of the time that I'm here. There's a lot of times where I'm just like living in it and I'm like, man, this would be nice to record, to share with my audience, but maybe I'll bring out the camera for a second and just show you guys a quick glimpse and then put it away because I want to enjoy the moment. Or I'm just really busy and I'm frazzled and I'm trying to get everything together and I don't know how. I didn't bring my tripod, so I'm like, well, how do I should have brought my tripod, but how do I finagle this phone in a way so that I can get footage of what I'm doing? And one time my phone just died. I didn't charge it the night before, I forgot. So I was just enjoying my day. And then when I got back to the car, I put it to charge. And yeah, I'm really feeling the effects of the sleeping medication now. And I still have to finish drinking this. And I may need to pee soon. I may need to step out of here. You know, technically, I can get out through this door. But my shoes are down here. So, it's just harder from here. Because I think because of the bed being higher up. And over there, I have so much junk. And I have the ceiling fan hanging. Those little fans help to circulate the air. Cheers. Almost done with this. I think I'm gonna chug it and I think I'm gonna make a run for it to the bathhouse one last time. It's kind of scary late at night. I hear people having fun, but on my little block here it's rather dark. I do have a light. I forgot my flashlight, but I have my Lucy light and it's sitting on my, you know, where the hood and the windshield, that little crack in between, it's sitting right there. And I do have twinkly lights outside. Hopefully they're still on, because last night I got up in the middle of the night. It was like midnight, and I went outside and they were dead. So I guess the charge that they get from the sun is sufficient for only a certain amount of time, because it's a solar chargeable, solar powered one. All the lights were dead, so they charged up today. I think they got a lot of their charging today, so they should be lasting longer tonight than yesterday. I think last night they died rather quickly because they were in storage for so long. But I'm gonna hurry up and finish this tea, go pee, and then come back and lay down. The only thing is I can't watch anything. I think I can do it on my data plan. I think last night I was watching a little bit of YouTube. I was watching a little bit of Caleb Hammer, you know, Financial Audit, one of my favorite shows. I love seeing him absolutely ream people who don't know what the hell they're doing or don't care to know what they're doing. Financial literacy and responsibility is a big thing for me because it equates to freedom. Some people think poverty is freedom. Like, I can just live however I want. I don't have to worry about anything. How? Money pays for everything. How? I like being independent. I'm very much a loner and self-sufficient, and so if I want to do something, I want to be able to do it out of my own financial pocket, my own ability. I don't want to have to hope and depend that someone else invites me. It's like you're putting your life in the hands of other people. So to me, financial literacy and responsibility and, you know, planning and preparing and saving and investing and, you know, not overspending, not getting into debt, which, you know, I'm no one to talk. I'm paying down debt, but I also bought a house, and houses cost money, not just when you put a down payment, but things that the house may need when you move in. It's going to happen. There's always going to be unforeseen expenses when you move into a house, and I'm still recovering from that. January will be 3 years since I moved into a house. And I think I would have been completely done paying off all my debt for my house had it not been that I got into camping. Because I had to buy this tent. These little twinkly lights, these weather techs were pretty expensive. There's one in the front as well. All the cushions that you see down here, I bought. It's like 2 yoga mats. Well, one of them is an old comforter, like not comforter, but like a mattress topper. The fitted sheet, these are cooling pillowcases, cooling blanket, the rug that you see that's down here, this patterned rug here, that's the whole floor, the AC unit, the fridge, the little lights, you know, this thing down here, virtually everything. The cat tent, that little pop-up tent that I was having my lunch in earlier, the little individual stove thing, the little panini maker, all the little bags, the tactical bags where I put everything in to be able to travel with, my tote bag for all my shower stuff. I got microfiber towels to not bring big bulky house towels. These fold up very compact and small. That's what this is a microfiber towel. Very, very thin, but it works just fine. So I got small ones for my hair and then bigger ones for my body. And I think I got 3 of each because the idea was that my girls were going to come camping with me, but I don't really care for it. So it's okay. I have a few extras in case of anything. All this stuff set me back. You know, I bought stuff and I put it on a credit card and now it's there. And I drive a lot for work. I commute a lot. And my tires have already had like 3 or 4 punctures from nails. And they've had patches, and they're 3 years old, and they're just thin little road tires. And I've been taking them on camping trips, which for the highway it's fine, but once you get to the campsite, there's a lot of rocks and gravel and dirt and mud and sand, and I don't want to get stuck. I don't want to get stranded. I don't want to get a puncture. So I wanted all-terrain tires. And I invested in all-terrain tires. I made a little bit of mistakes with this purchase. The tires were perfect. perfectly fine, great tires. They were a little too big, so some work needed to be done to the car in order for the wheel well to allow room for the tire. So I had to lift the car about 1.5 inches, and I had to do something to the front wheel well to just kind of like expand the back of it just a little bit. It was very simple procedure. It didn't even take that long procedure. Look at me talking like medical talk. Very simple process. It was like $150 to get it done. But a friend of mine talked me into getting new wheels as well. If you don't know what the wheel is, it's the rim. It's the metal part that holds your tire. I'm like, I have my stock ones. They're fine. It's like, yeah, but don't you want them to be more sturdy? And like, those are aluminum. If you get them steel, like they can withstand anything. And I thought, okay, that sounds cool. And we started looking at stuff together and shopping. And I'm like, I fell in love. I got enamored. I decided in my brain, I didn't realize that I was chasing a want and not a need. I didn't need new wheels. I wanted new wheels. I needed new tires. Probably not now, but soon enough. And I didn't want to be stuck with a freaking spare tire trying to drive all the way back home to Miami like that. So I got these wheels, and it turns out he told me that with the measurements, it sounds like it's gonna work. And I trusted him because, you know, he's done stuff to his cars and he's a good friend of mine, so why wouldn't I trust him? And I did the research myself, and I'm like, okay, it does sound like it would work. Well, there's a lot of things that come into play when it comes to wheels. You know, you have the 17x8, you know, you have the width by the depth, and then you have the offset, which is where the center part that goes onto your hub, how far off to the outside or to the inside is that center part. Well, my stock vehicle comes with a 45mm offset, and the rims that I got were a 0. In other words, they were so close to the hub that there was no room for the brake pad to move. But because it was a 0 offset, it's like a deep dish type of like rim, so the tire was already poking out, but the center of the rim was very in. But in order to make room for the rubbing of the brake pad, in order for that to not happen, I had to put a spacer, which is like this separate piece, which is not safe, because if that separate piece breaks or cracks, that falling apart now that's the glue that's keeping your wheel to your car. If that piece breaks, your wheel goes flying off. And that's something that I didn't realize, didn't consider. I didn't educate myself enough about it. I'm like, I already have these stupid rims, so I might as well get those damn wheels and do what I need to do. Long story short, one of them got cracked. It was extremely dangerous. I had to remove my tires and rims and drive around in my stock tires and rims for 2 weeks with my beautiful new tires in the backyard, covered up, and I couldn't use the rims. So I went to a trusted mechanic who said, look, I can try putting your tires on your stock rims. It's not going to poke out as much, but at least it'll fit, it'll work. He's the same one who made this space for the wheel well in order for it to fit and gave me the height. So I have the clearance, you know, from the road. It's perfect for camping, perfect for soft off-roading, nothing crazy, you know, just to make sure my car's not going to get damaged. And he did it, and it worked perfectly. I have my stock wheels. They're not gorgeous. They're not like top of the line. I have a base trim vehicle. It's not the Signature or the Turbo or the Select or the Carbon. None of that. They have nicer wheels, but they're mine. They function, and that's all I need. I can't indulge in wants right now, because if I want the future that I want, if I want the life that I want, I have to realize what matters and what's important right now. So now I have these rims that I have to sell, because once you've had them mounted, they can't take them back. Once you've had a tire mounted on them, they can't take them back. And they were $600. About $150 a wheel. So I'm gonna try to sell them on OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace, and it might be a while, but I really hope that I can get a buyer who wants them for $600, and I can just put that money back in my bank account. Because that's weighing heavy on my head right now. That's a fuck up. That's a mistake. That's a whoopsie. I messed up. But I let myself be convinced, and my friend meant well, you know, and I was excited about it, but I got carried away with a whim and an excitement of a want. And I have to be mindful of these things. I don't need anything else. I keep looking at like travel trailers, like to not have to sleep in this teeny tiny little space, because my car can actually tow about 2,000 pounds. And there's a travel trailer that I really, really, really want. It's called the Travel Light Rove Light, Lite, 14FD, I think it's called. So they have 3 models, the FB, FL, FD. FB, I think, means bunks, because it has 2 bunk beds in the back. And it has a bathroom, a little kitchen area, and then it has a dinette that turns into a big queen-size bed, like for mom and dad. And the bunks are for kids. I don't need that because my kids don't care to go camping with me. And then there's the FD, or the FL. I'm not sure which one's which. I think one is for lounge and one is for dinette. So one has a bed in the front that turns into like a little couch. And then you have your kitchen, and then you have a little tiny dinette, which is like a 1 seat and table, and the bathroom in the back. And then the lightest weight one that I think is the most smart floor plan, at least for me, it has a dinette in the front. It's wider, so you can sit 2 people on either side, and then there's the table, and that converts into a bed, which is also a queen size bed. They're all these mom and dad beds are all the same size, whether it's like a couch lounger, or it comes as a bed already, or it's a dinette that you convert into a bed. And then it has like a little lounge couch, and opposite that little lounge couch is the kitchen. And in the back, you don't have an extra bunk bed or anything like that, or an extra dinette. You just have cabinetry. And then next to the cabinetry is the bathroom, which makes perfect sense, because that cabinetry is where you would put your shoes, your clothes, your towels, your toiletries, your bathroom things. Because the bath is a half bath, which is tiny. I mean, think of like an airplane bathroom. And then like the shower is like above the toilet. But it is the lightest weight travel trailer. It comes in at just under 2,000 pounds. I think it's like 15 something or 16 something dry. And by dry, it means the tanks have no water in them. There's nothing else in the trailer. Once you put in your clothes, your toiletries, your bedding, your personal things, your food, you fill your fridge, you have a tank full of water, because it does have a gray tank and a black tank because it has a toilet and it flushes water. A freshwater tank, I think, a gray tank, and a black tank. And then it has the city, just like any other RV, where if you don't want to fill the freshwater tank, once you get to your destination, you just connect it to city water, and that's how you get your water. It has a heater pump. I don't think it has any propane. Everything is run on the batteries. It comes with 2 batteries in the front. The tongue jack has its own weight as well. So as long as you don't go crazy overpacking it, I mean, my car can tow it. But now I would have to get the tow hitch installed in the back of my car, which is another weight added to the car. And these are all wants. They're not needs, because I can sleep like this. Is it the most comfortable? No. But is it doable? Yes. Heck, I even realized today I can probably sleep in my tent outside. I feel a little safer in here, but it feels a little, I'll get sleepy, a little claustrophobic in here. It's a little tight, because if you have nothing and you're just on the floor of the car, you have space to sit up. Like if I sit over there, my head doesn't really touch the ceiling, but this is like a good 3-4 inches maybe. I had purchased this like couch thingy that like transforms into a bed. It was like 6 inches. I was so close to the ceiling, I felt like I was in a coffin. So I'm like, this is not gonna work, and I already bought it. So these are expenses for my camping that has happened over the years. Not to mention before I bought my house, you know, doing my nails and doing my lashes and doing my hair and going to massages and beauty treatments and all that stuff. So there's always something that I get into that ends up costing money. I got my snorkel gear, you know, like my little flippers, nothing too crazy expensive. But I got my mask, I got my snorkel, I got my flippers, I got a wetsuit top, which I'm glad I bought because it kept me warm today. All this self-protection gear. My throat is starting to get dry and hurt. I think I'm gonna call it a night. I'm getting tired. My knees are hurting from sitting in this crisscross applesauce sort of position. There's very little in there. I'm gonna go pee, come back,